Hey, this is Matt. Once again, we're about to another review. There's another paid request, this time from Ben. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, whatever it may be, feel free to send them either directly to my email or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the final episode of True Detective Season 1, the 8th episode called Form and Void. Now, before I get into the episode, I just say this. I really enjoyed this show, this season. Apparently, Season 2 and 3 have nothing to do with this season, so I don't care about them, but I really liked Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. I liked their back and forth character development. It was interesting to follow these characters and their friendship, or kind of weird friendship with each other. I felt there was a bit more that could be done with the case, but I did get a lot of satisfaction from this final episode. And a lot of people badmouth this episode, say it's a letdown. I think this was the best episode of the season. And the fact it's the final episode, I think that actually worked out well. I like the way it ends. I like that it ends with no cliffhanger, no sequel bait. There's a little bit of hope, a little bit of, I'll get to that. I like the way it ended. I thought it ended on a satisfying note, but it did not betray the characters. I think that the direction, the music, it's definitely a horror movie vibe with the music. It's definitely more of a character-driven show, not action. Like I said, I think there's some episodes that things could have been tightened. One of the episodes, I forget if it was 5 or 6, that went, where Woody Harrelson cheats on his wife again. I'm like, you know what, this stuff either could have been taken out or shortened, or could have just had him cheat the one time. That was enough. You didn't have to do it again. It's like, I don't know, just yeah, I wouldn't call it a perfect show, but it's pretty damn good in terms of the characters, in terms of the two lead actors, Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, really made this season. And even this finale, like the vibe, the horror. I did finally get that horror vibe that I've been wanting a bit more out of. Like, I wish more of the show was kind of this episode. I wish this episode, more of the show encased what the attributes of this episode. The hallucinations that Matthew McConaughey would see, that horror film vibe and atmosphere. I think parts of the show could have done with a bit more of that. But maybe it's, it wanted to deal more with the characters. But yeah, I rather did enjoy True Detective Season 1. I thought it was fairly well done. I thought it had some really good dialogue, some really interesting dialogue. I think Matthew McConaughey had some really nice pieces of verbiage that were unique. I still remember the episode where this woman who hurt or killed kids, and Matthew McConaughey's talking nicely to her to get her to sign a confession, and then nonchalantly goes, when you get to prison, they don't like people that hurt kids, so when you get the chance, kill yourself. Just so coldly and matter-of-factly, like, ooh, shit. And Woody Harrelson, just, well, this is a good study of how to build up characters. To make them interesting, flawed, but you still like them. They're flawed individuals, but they're still individuals that I could easily root for. Especially in this third act. And yeah, this probably my favorite. I didn't. People were disappointed they didn't like this. I disagree with them. I thought the build up, these videotapes where this cult would kill and molest kids. They're looking at this former colleague. They get him to tell them more info on what's going on. You learn a little bit more about the bad guy who lives in this fucked up place with this woman that might be related to him. And there's stuff everywhere. With that happening, the two leads are showing this former cop the tape. Why are you making me watch this? Because it's your, because you fucking should. You wanted to put your head in the fucking sand. It's your fault, you dipshit. And there's a lot of little moments I liked. I like the fact that Matthew McConaughey is not tear through bluffs. So there's a point he tells the cop, if anything happens to us, I hired a sniper. And he puts his hand up and it starts sniping the guy's car. So he's telling the truth about that. I like that a lot of this was Matthew McConaughey figuring out. So then writing-wise, they let Woody Harrelson have his moment as a detective. And he realizes, wait a minute. This one house was painted green. And it was like new, fresh paint. And the kid said he saw a monster with green ears. Maybe the green ears. Paint, green paint. So I like that they gave Woody Harrelson his moment to shine as a detective. It's not just all Matthew McConaughey doing it. Woody Harrelson had his moment to shine. Same with the ending. I like that both characters get their moments to shine. So it's not one outdoing the other. And you still have that interesting dialogue. Everybody judges all the time. If you have a problem with that, then you're living wrong. And the whole, like, I say third act, but second half of the episode is this tense cat and mouse chase where they get to this place in the middle of nowhere. And, like, Woody Harrelson is checking the house and very creepy design. There's dolls. There's all sorts of ruckus and muck and shit everywhere. Not literal shit, but there's just... I like the set design of it. While Matthew McConaughey is going through this labyrinth, like, it's the woods, but it's like a maze corridor of vines and branches, like an evil version, like grim fairy tale stuff. And then these tunnels. It brings a nice sense of design, set design and atmosphere. And then the score. You get these creepy decorations with skulls. And I'm glad they brought back the hallucination thing, because I do think that's something they could have done more with. Because they bring up this whole thing that Matthew McConaughey's character sees hallucinations, then they drop it for quite a few episodes until they finally bring it back. And I don't know why they dropped it for a bit. Maybe they thought they would overuse it, but I think they could have used it a bit more. Because there might be people who... Well, they do mention dialogue, like, do you still see things? Oh, no. But I do like the visual where he sees, like, this vortex weird thing. And then you have the fight, and then the spoilers, for those who don't want to know spoilers, warning, where it's a brutal fight. It's not like a big fight, it's not like Rocky Balboa type of fight, but, it's a brutal little battle with the villain. Where Matthew McConaughey gets stabbed, but I like that he's a badass, that he's still headbutting the guy. He keeps headbutting the motherfucker until the guy goes down. He's ready to stab Matthew McConaughey, but then Woody Harrelson wounds him. But then he gets like a fucking hammer claw right into his like shoulder. And then McConaughey's able to shoot the motherfucker in the head. It's short like you're supposed to, and this is not an action film. It's not a Van Damme film. I'm not expecting that. in a way, if you're unsatisfied with the finale of 7, this is kind of your satisfaction with that. You have a sick killer, you have 2 cops looking into the case, only in this case, they're able to fight and ultimately kill the villain, and both of them are going to be alright. And I like 7, but again, for those who are bothered by the ending, which I don't blame you, one bit, this one would be more your cup of tea. And they both get to the hospital. I like that Woody Harrelson, his family sees him there. He's like, I'll be fine. I'm fine. Then he just cries. Whether because of the event that happened, because his family cared enough to see him, and while he'll probably never make up with his ex-wife, but that they cared enough to see him, and that touched him. I like that character moment. I like that Matthew McConaughey has that, we didn't get them all. We didn't get all the cultists, and, you know, well, we ain't going to get them all. It was never going to happen, but we did get ours. I thought the ending really worked, when Matthew McConaughey, who's this cynical guy who doesn't have much feeling, finally breaks down. Finally cries after 8 episodes. He's like, I shouldn't be here. And then I like Woody Harrelson's like, I believe no shit is a proper response. No, like, Matthew McConaughey then breaks down and cries and says that he felt slipping into the abyss, and he actually felt his daughter, the love that his daughter, I could still feel her love there, stronger than before. Some people may feel it's sappy. I liked it. I like sap, I like corn, I like cheese. Corny, cheesy, sappy. You know what? I'm fine with that. And I think McConaughey's performance made so that wasn't the case. And Woody Harrelson, I liked his reaction. I thought this was a nice... They stuck the landing. I like that they stuck the landing. It makes me like the show more. And maybe someday I'll pick up the Blu-ray, DVD, however, of this show. I would like to pick that up one day. I believe it's out. I don't know how much it is, but I would like to pick it up. I don't know if it's just DVD, Blu-ray, both. Because the ending stuck to its landing. It didn't fuck around and piss all over itself. I appreciate that. And you know what, I'm actually glad that season 2 and 3 are different characters and different events, because it doesn't fuck with this story, doesn't fuck with this ending, doesn't fuck with this plot. And it never will, because the show went on its own directions. That's fine. I'm actually glad for that. They had a story, it has an ending. The oldest story, Light versus Dark. And people get mad at Matthew McConaughey's last line. I actually like it. Kind of reminds me of Morgan Freeman's line from 7. Because Morgan Freeman's last line in 7 was, you know, I've heard 2 things. The world is a great place and it's worth fighting for. Well, I believe in the second one. I believe in the second part. Here, it's a little bit different where, you know, he's looking up the sky, and McConaughey's like, you know, once there was only dark. But if you ask me, the light's winning. I like that you have a character so cynical, and maybe for one moment in time, one split moment, there's a little bit of hope. Not to believe, but there's a little bit of hope. And that's just 100%. Instead of 100% pessimism or cynicism, it's maybe, you know, 80%. Little bit. And I thought that was rather rewarding and satisfying to hear and see. As McConaughey wants to get out of the hospital and Woody Harrelson's carrying him over, and who knows what will happen next. Who knows if they're just both retired, if they end up, obviously they don't end up being friends again. Maybe they'll start a detective agency. I don't know. That's up to the viewer. But yeah, the way they dealt with the characters, I keep harping on that, because I think about all these other places movies that can't do theaters worth a shit. This is an example of doing it. And for a show on, was it HBO, it looked good cinematography wise, direction, camera work wise. The one scene where Bad Bakai is going through the compound with all this firefight going on. And it's not going to be a $50 million action movie, but for a TV show it was rather good. And the two leads gave wonderful performances. The music at times gave a great horror film vibe. Overall, again, aside from some pacing issues, aside from sometimes in the middle, I wish there was a bit more in the investigation. I wish there was a bit more of the horror feel aspect, atmosphere to it. A little bit less of the, I'm cheating on my wife, with Woody Harrelson, a little bit less of that. Overall, I rather did enjoy this, and the ending was satisfying to me. They didn't fuck it up, they didn't ruin it, they didn't screw it up. And I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Good job. Good job. So, my neighbor's rooster, he felt the same way. He's like, good job. Now we don't need some Popeye's chicken. So, we'll see you guys later. Take care. And, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.